Good afternoon. It's a Sunday, and I am here with Dr. Sohail Nasti, the founder of Mother Helpage. And we're going to have a discussion about one of the more tricky aspects of a charity, which is the funding and the transparency of where the money goes and how to make sure it actually reaches those in need. Good afternoon, Doctor. Nice to see you again.
Good afternoon again. Thank you.
So, one of the most difficult aspects and what discourages a lot of investors, especially in some of the rural places and areas that you go to, the places that need charity the most often don't have that transparency. How do you deal with that aspect at Mother Helpage?
See, financial management is the backbone of charities. And I think only those charities survive who has got good financial controls, because these days the regulations are very tight from the banks, from the compliance agencies, even from the money transfer agencies. So you need to have the policies in place and the monitoring aspect of that. So then and only you would be able to justify that you are working in any high-risk area. We put our regulations, strict policies in place, and we learn from big agencies, and we even have a very good relations with our banks. Where banks train us, our team. We have a regular yearly meeting with our banks, and they teach us how to be compliant. And we have then also our internal audit controls, our policies, compliance, how we work with which organizations. So once you have these things, then it's very easy for you. Then you have a template to follow. Mm-hmm. And once you tick all the boxes, then you will never go, to a wrong hands.
Well, how do you say that? But what about conflict areas or disaster zones where you have an immediate need? And it might be something a bit unique that don't fall straight into your orchestration. What do you do in those cases?
Yes,
we need immediate money and it needs to go quickly.
Definitely.
How do you regulate that?
Yes. There are still, again, look, first of all, I'll talk about Mother Helpage. We have a emergency pot where there's already pre-approved money if there's any emergency. So trustees.
So sorry to interrupt you, Doctor, but I see like KPK, the flood zone,
That's
and
right.
then that's something that happens.
Yeah. So what we do, we have already, the bank know about that. Our auditors know that we have, example, £50,000 on the emergency budget. Anything happens, so we don't have to wait for the approvals and authorizations. So it's pre-approved by the trustees that anything happens, the CEO, the trustees, they have authority to contact the people and the on-ground people. And anyway, the budget is approved. Then the second part is know your partner, who you work with. That's a tricky bit. Mm-hmm. So we do enhance.
And you have a lot of partners out
definitely.
there. So I would love to know how you manage so many partners and that trust. To trust every single you've got quite a number of countries that you represent.
So that's what I'm saying. So we do enhance due diligence. So check the background of these people, like we do the DBS of every partner as required by the UK government, and who their trustees are. Mm-hmm. Example, recently one of the organizations, they approached us to be the partner. They were giving us the funds. However, we find in due diligence one of the trustees have a bit of a gray area. So we stopped working with them because of the single person, because we never want.
What is a gray? Yeah, it takes one bad apple, doesn't it?
That's it.
The corruption breeds, absolutely.
So he had some political connections and also some. So we always tend to avoid where there is a political inclination of any organization.
So any political alignment or religion is strictly out of Mother Helpage.
Definitely, we don't follow that. And no matter how they give us £1 million, we will never work with any.
You won't accept it.
No.
No. Okay, that's good to know. And can you share how your organization tracks funds between your donor and the beneficiaries?
Yes, there is a cycle, project cycle we call it. So once a donor gives the money, anyway, from the bank, definitely. So our auditors, our accounts department, they log it to their system, and then we have we agree with the donor that 10% or 7% is the admin which is for Mother Helpage to deliver the project on ground. So then the funds, which country they are for. So we ask the on-ground team to send us the proposal for the budgeting and all the stuff. So then we contact the bank we tell them this money is to be sent to this country for this particular purpose. So for we send all the documentation from needs assessment from that country, vendor list, so who we going to pay with to the vendors. As I said, the vendors must be registered for the tax purposes, and we check their the tax history from last 3 years. And anyway, the partners also, we check if there's a new partner, we check their history from 3 years. Have they submitted their statements to the government, their annual report, the way we have Charities Commission here. So then once that's sorted, then we start the fund transfers, and it goes always to the banks. Mother Helpage is one of the few charities in the UK which have stopped cash dealing. We never do the cash dealing.
One bank? I mean, there aren't banks that are congruent, let's say, to Sierra Leone, or do they have small banks there that you have to?
Yes,
so
we always
transfer
do.
to
We
some
transfer.
foreign bank.
Yes, we transfer to the foreign bank, to our bank. However, our bank is very supportive, and in the UK they have taught us about these regulations as well. So we tell them, we give them the compliance documents and tell them which partner we work in. Suppose if there's a disaster zone, we work in, as you rightly said, in high risk area, then we contact the governments. And as I said, to the embassies here, to inform them that this is our partner in that country, and are we allowed to work with them? Despite we do the cross checks from their country, but we contact the embassies here as well to give us a second clearance for that.
So you have to go from one bank type, like Standard Chartered, to Pakistan.
Yeah.
So do you lose money in that, or is there some special?
No, there's no. I will tell you when we
like
have
the transfer rates or the interest. The currency rates.
No, yeah. There's a very important, good question. The reason we respect our bank, I need to mention here HSBC, our bank, and HSBC team.
HSBC here in England, United Kingdom.
They have been very kind.
My best friend works for HSBC.
They have been very kind for us. We used to sometimes transfer the funds to FX agencies. However, when we have the regular meetings with our bank, they have reduced the transfer rates from normally they charge other banks £21. HSBC is charging only £8 to transfer the funds to international. So they are in a way supporting our charity.
And that's strictly for charity funding.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, obviously.
So because they have seen us working on, we have shown them, we give them every year our updates, and they were very happy. And they said, look, this will be a HSBC contribution for us because we are happy the way you are transferring funds. You have that, you're dealing on ground, and we also want to contribute. So that's a kind of a very good remark to us and acknowledgement.
Well, you also, interestingly, work for the United Kingdom in the aspect or the angle of drugs and trafficking. So you must know something about illicit funding and
definitely
how that
as
moves
I said,
around. So
because of my work.
How do people move illicit money around
there are
these
fake
days?
companies.
They're still able to do it, or is it just on?
No. There are people. They create fake companies. They create fake projects. They have no track record of that. So that's why we are coming more harsher. We are using now modern high tech technology to monitor on ground as well. And the best thing is what we do, as I said, in our last podcast as well. We work with the governments. What we do is, example, if there's a disaster in any area, we get the joint needs assessment with the government or any other NGOs working there. First of all, to reduce duplication of work efforts. So if somebody is constructing houses, there's no point for us to construct the houses. So we see other projects, what the people require. So that also prevents the duplication and wasting of money. So then we we get the stats from the government, because the government everywhere they are accurate. So we get the stats from them and see what requirements are. So we work with the government, and they identify, say they allow us to work on 2 projects, 3 projects, and then we identify the vendors who are shortlisted by the government or who are vetted by them, or they are the genuine ones. So these days, I can tell you, people do money laundering to fake companies. They create fake companies, or sometimes they say, oh, we'll do cash, transfers, and then there's no proper trail of it.
So the drug trade is just cash.
Most of the things are cash. So that's why Mother Helpage stopped totally. We don't do any cash. Any country we work in, bank-to-bank transactions. So, and then to the legitimate company, so that everybody can track that easily.
How do you coordinate with other, let's say the World Bank or the Food Bank, or other charities? Like, UNHCR and things like that. How do you coordinate with them when when you're both going into the same area?
Yeah. What Mother Helpage, we are the members of United Nations, UNDPI, and other global, forums, forums, where then any disaster happens. So there is a meeting all the time. There are areas where they invite all the charities.
So you're pooling your funds.
Yes.
With all of
So
them.
not pooling. Also, we identify.
But collaborating.
Yes, we then identify. Okay,
I see the collaboration.
UNHCR will work on this, or some UK charity will work on this project. So then we identify that. Okay, as I said, then we see also that reduces the risk as well. So we monitor each other work as well, and we support each other on ground as well. That way.
When you say that there's money already set aside for high risk sort of disaster zones, let's use KPK flood, the flood areas, which happens annually or every so often, more often. So right now there's money in a bank sitting, waiting for a flood in Pakistan. Is that right? And how do you budget that?
No,
And
it's a different story.
Okay.
That budget is, we call that general funds or emergency funds. When people give money, they specify where this fund has to go.
Okay.
So some people give money.
Education.
Yes. Some people give us funds for emergency, so we put it on the emergency pot. Some people say, please use it where you feel it, where most needed. So we use it that time if there's emergency or we are short of funds, so we can use that where most needed part to emergency. However, any fund which is restricted to a particular project, we cannot use that for emergencies.
I see.
So there is always some budget, and also when we have general funds, the trustees make sure we have some funds in emergency pot so that any eventuality, anything happens, so our team is ready rather than we waste time, raising funds or going there. So because rapid response, you need not to wait for it. So you have to be, just anything happens, you have to be there.
Yes, I can see that. And how does it work with donors? Can it just be individuals who donate, or do you have like a sort of a set system or gradation, big business to the average person?
We have corporates, we have other charities, international charities, NGOs, we have the government grants. So we pitch for that time. So the reason, we have the general funds. When we go on ground, we show our presence. So example, in KPK or in Sudan or wherever. So when our team goes there, they then send their reports to our headquarters here, mentioning that we are here, we had this much of amount, we initiated the work. However, the need is this much. So they send the report along with the government, confirmation. Example, 400 houses have been gutted, or there are these many people are injured. So they send the report. What we do, then we generate an appeal to our donors, to individuals or organizations or government grants. So then we tell them, look, we need this much of money, and then they approve.
So when the money is on hold, as you say, it's not really money in the bank, or it's more in the pipeline. So people, when there's an emergency, immediately your donors will come forward at that time.
The emergency funds are in the bank. What I said before, that when people donate, so we keep an account. We have an account which is only for emergency.
Yeah.
So where people give us money, so it builds up slowly all the time, and people donate.
But do you have an established set of people? If you need money all of a sudden, there's a huge crisis. You have something in place.
We have the partners, yes, with the organization support. Mother Helpage is the organization which morely works with other international charities and the governments. We have very less individual donors. So that's why when we have any emergency, we contact these. We have at the moment almost 25 partners. So we put the bid across, and hopefully, more than 50% straight away, they respond, and we carry out work.
Okay, that makes sense. And in the auditing aspect, so how does the process for your donors' confidence? What is Mother Helpage's auditing processes?
Yes, that's our USP. So because we have at the moment, 25 partners, and some partners work with us from last 20 years. So referencing is also very important. Suppose if we approached a new partner and they want to cross-check who we are, they do their due diligences and all this stuff. So then we give our references from the partners who we worked with from last 20 years. So they contact them as well, and ask them about how Mother Helpage is doing, or so that way. And also everything is online these days. Our charity commission reports, our audit reports, are they filed on time, or is there any gray area? Is there any red tag? So these are the things. These days, everything is online, so anybody can track what Mother Helpage does. So that's also a very good, thing for us, that we are open and transparent. So we follow all the regulations and compliance which the UK government or the international FATF or the Humanitarian Charter, is recommends. We are already following that.
And what about external and internal audits?
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
how often would those take place?
We have audits. I think if we take in a really professional way of mentioning this, our audit is from every transfer, every example. Any transfers are to be signed by the at least the CEO and the trustees. Example: small office expenses, they are done by manager and CEO, but anything above 5,000 or 10,000, CEO and trustees have to sign it. About 10, 20,000, then all the trustees get involved to know where the money is for, why it's for. So there's a committee which approves. So that's an internal audit kind of thing. Then we have a 3 monthly or 6 monthly
And I guess
audit.
the HSBC probably has that overall
Yes,
anyway.
yes. So our trustee internal audit is after 6 months, but our external audit from the auditors, independent auditors, is after every year.
Okay, right. So that just goes without saying. What are some of the main risks that organizations like Mother Helpage face in money laundering in high risk areas?
Yes. See, first of all, as I said, we'll take the example of Kashmir, where we mostly work, is terrorism financing, extremism financing, bribery, corruption, and money goes to fake companies, false case studies or false beneficiaries. So these are things where we, or sometimes there are projects which the people, they fake as well. I have seen it myself. Something there are. That's why we came up with a very strict regulations. So yes, there are things in everywhere, but there's a
Do
way
you
to.
have people who go out and regulate your
Yes, we have.
actual
Yes, we
offices?
have a monitoring team as well, and sometimes few international charities who are our donors, they visit their projects as well. I will give an
Because they
example.
want to see
Yeah,
themselves.
there
Yeah.
was a guy from I think from Jordan or somewhere, and he did a project in some country, I think in Africa or so. So once he sent an email with his water well we constructed, and he was in with his water well, sent a picture, thank you, I'm at my water well in Jordan or some this country. So he sent a compliment that no, I went there independently without telling you guys, and this is my project, I'm
Surprise
happy.
visits.
Yeah,
We
so
call
this
them,
is
it's
good.
like a pop quiz in Catholic school.
This is good. We appreciate it that people go
Yeah.
there, because what we have started
Or
doing
maybe
now.
some of if you have that many donors, then they would be in those areas.
No,
Would
no. What we
reach.
have started doing now, we have started geotagging our projects. Suppose we have water wells. Every water well is geotagged, and we use those, the just 3 words. We do the coordinates of the well. We send it to the partner where we did it. There are so many, modern high tech technologies where we can, use them to.
And these are sort of the ways that you can avoid this sort of illicit
Yes.
funding.
Yeah.
In Kashmir, there's now the main issue. And how do you, for example, the water treaty has been broken by the Indian side, stopping some of the water flow from the Indus River. You're anti-political, or you're a political organization, but do you get involved? I mean, how do you avoid getting involved in political situations? Because water is one of your aspects. Clean water, safe water is one of the aspects of Mother Helpage. What happens when there is a political situation and that water is cut or sabotaged? Do you get involved?
No, as I said, the Mother Helpage totally doesn't get involved in these situations. However, we only, if we are invited for a meeting in the,
United Nations or
no United Nations, in that kind, suppose if sometimes I attend the meetings in India with the, security
Indian
agencies, or
Kashmir. Yeah.
yes, or the authorities, we have to be there. So we can, only what we say, look, it's good to resolve things amicably rather than, we have only this much we can say. But we focus on our work and,
The impact Mother Helpage. Are there reports that come out to show how much impact Mother Helpage is having in certain areas?
Yes. What we have done, we have now got a partnership, or rather partnership with few local newspapers, where they go out to monitor independently our projects, and then they publish it in the newspapers. Like we went there, we saw Mother Helpage
And do you
projects.
need to report to any other larger bodies that impact and progress or output or production?
Larger bodies.
Productivity.
No, as I said, we work with the governments, we work with the local communities, and whenever we do any big project, we involve the local commissioner of, the district.
In various areas, depending on the local government of
Yeah.
places
So
like Africa.
Because, I think better is to tell the government, the local authorities, what we are doing, and that way your transparency is more seen on ground.
Well, have there been any sort of red flag cases that you personally have had to deal with?
It's there are things I'll tell you.
I'm sure you've come across.
I'll tell you
you
some
probably
some
wrote a
example.
book on everything that you've had to deal with.
We are the custodians of people's money. People trust us, and people don't understand on ground how difficult is it for a charity to, to keep stricter controls. There was a guy from CID department. May God bless his soul. So. He has asked our team to construct a water well to one of his relatives. So when our team went for a needs assessment, because most of this is zakat, so they find that the beneficiary is not deserving. He's got a nice house and they're not poor. And then they said, no, sorry, we can't do it. They said, no, this is out of our policy. And then, unfortunately, the guy then reported us that, we are, he put a negative, a note on the file in the CID department, which delayed a lot of processes on ground because of that.
Oh.
So, but I told the guys, I said, it doesn't matter. One day everybody will know that we are not the wrong people. So, no, don't come to these things, because.
When did that happen? How long ago?
4 or 5 years back, and
it actually hurt Mother Helpage.
It delayed a lot of registrations. It delayed a lot of clearances from the authorities, from the police as well. Then, then we came to know that this was the reason. So, but I have no regret for that, because as long as we are transparent, we are clear, these things do happen, and
it's unavoidable.
Chin up and work on. So these are the things. That's it.
Can't do right for wrong, my grandma used to say back in Texas. So, on a more personal note about finances, as personal as it can get, but what advice would you give to a young person today who wanted to do some humanitarian work or start it? What kind of financial responsibility would they need to consider? And the tougher side of humanitarian is raising the money.
I think more than the legal compliance, which comes above everything, is respect the donors' funding. Whoever trusts you, respect the pound, respect the money they give to you. You have to be so careful that, and honor that, because they have put in everything, all the trust on you, so that this money reaches the right people. So above all the compliances, I think conscience should be clear, and respect the donations, what people trust you on. Then obey the law of land, no matter what. Never succumb to any pressures from any way. What the law says of that particular land, obey that. Because as a Muslim, it's in Quran as well. First obey Quran and Sunnah, then follow the law of the land. Quran never says, no, Muslims have to mend the rules, never.
And the Sharia law must play a huge part.
I will tell you, suppose my Quran, my Sunnah says, trust people's money and deliver it the right way. And then if I work in India or in Pakistan or in Africa, if the country says, you have to go as per our regulations this way, I don't have no right to tell, no, I'm a Muslim. It says like, no, I have to follow that because I have to be compliant. So be compliant and then think innovative ideas of spending that money on. Don't, anybody
And
tells
how do you make sure that the charity itself doesn't take too much of the money? How do you make sure you keep it a limited charity so that more money reaches the people?
What we do, we have an agreement with the partners when we raise any funds, or we have a constitution as well where we don't take more than some donors give us only 7% admin, and some give us 10%. And that's recorded everywhere in our files. And we have an admin account separate where only the admin money goes, while we do salaries and other expenses. So that's what I'm saying. We have 9 accounts here. I will tell you for the information. We have 9 accounts. So wash project have separate account, emergency separate account, seasonal project separate account. So that all the money which we receive from one account, then we distribute. We minus the 10% or 7%, and that put it in the relative account, so that there's more transparency and accountability. Mm-hmm. So then we spend it as per their need. So we don't touch that money which is in those accounts. That's only for the project delivery purposes, not for the charity, utilities or salaries.
Yeah. And sort of the final question I would ask is, in this, you must have to trust your own people. How do you find and recruit your people, and how do you trust those people in overseeing all of this? Because you can only do so much. You're only one man. So how do you find your team,
my
your
background
team?
from my work, from working with the military, has made me tough. So I don't trust people. I don't trust people no matter what. I trust their work output. If anybody,
what you see on paper,
I would just want to see on ground. I will tell you, some few of our donors say, "Oh, you change people regularly. What's that?" I said, "Look, I have to respect the people's money. If any staff member, they don't deliver, then our trustees and our senior members, they have no other choice to replace them and get good quality people, so that we are not seen down by our donors. So we work. Our output of work is more important than who is on the seat. So that's what we believe in, and we don't recruit people on terms of referencing. We do proper thorough interviews, shortlisting, and then give them opportunity, the probation time, how they operate in that time, and then if we think they are worth it, then our trustees and senior members, they recruit them.
Okay, that's wonderful. All very interesting and great business ethics. Interesting to learn and hear more about Mother Helpage. Thank you, Dr.